Hello students. On last lecture we learned till the effects of temperature on solubility. So some factors that are affecting, first one is the nature of solute and solvent. Now the second we let's start to learn the effect of temperature on solubility. All of you well know that in summer during the hot days what happen, the temperature at the surface of water is relatively high and the solubility of oxygen in the upper layer is minimum. At the same time, the temperature of water at lower level is much less and it contains more amount of dissolved oxygen. Hence, marine life like the fish, they prefers to stay at lower level and stay away from the upper layer of water. Hence, effects of temperature they are saying about by the different type of the graphs, and that graphs can be understood by using these variations of solubility of some ionic solids with the temperature. So, solubility of substance like NaBr, NaCl and KCl, their changes slightly with temperature. So, if you observe in the graph, you can understand the NaBr, NaCl and KCl, they can be changes slightly, that is they are showing the slight change in the graph. Now second, solubility of KNO3, NaNO3, KBr, they are increasingly appreciably with the increase in the temperature. Similarly, the solubility of sodium sulfate, that is Na2SO4, which decreases with increase of the temperature. The condensation is an exothermic process. Condensation means what? To collect the droplets of water. Evaporation, during the evaporation, the solubility of gases in the water, they must decrease as the temperature is raised. With solubility of Na2SO4 is decreases with increase of temperature, and the process of fractional crystallization, that is the separation of individual components of mixture of water soluble salts from aqueous solution, and that can be carried out if there exists difference in the solubility of the component. Means what? From the solution of mixture KNO3 and NaNO3, the almost 90% of total dissolved KNO3 which can be crystallized out by cooling to 0 degree centigrade. Similarly, the separation of pure sodium chloride, that is the salt, they can be crystallized out from the solution of the mixture of NaCl and NaBr at 0 degree centigrade. This technique is almost useful if the substance is highly soluble at higher temperature and solubility is poor at lower temperature. So, we goes to the next one, that is the factors affecting on solubility is the effect of pressure. Dear students, all of you know that the solids, they are incompressible and hence change of the pressure, it has no effect on the solubility of solids in a liquids. So, we say that, but sometimes the pressure greatly affects on the solubility of gases in the liquids, and hence solubility of gases increases with increasing in the pressure. That terms which can be explained by the Henry's law. So, solubility of gases is greatly influenced by the external pressure and it increases with increase of the pressure. So, according to Henry's law relates solubility of gas with external pressure. This law states that the solubility of gas in a liquid at constant temperature is proportional to the pressure of the gas which is above the solution. Here S is known as the solubility of gas in mole per dm cube. Then according to Henry's law, S is directly proportional to P, that is the solubility is increases, pressure also get increases. If solubility is decreases, pressure also get decreases, or S is equal to what? Kh into P. Now what is the Kh here, which is known as the proportionality constant or Henry's law constant term. S is once again solubility of the gas in moles per liter, P is the pressure which is in the bar over the solution. Hence, unit of Kh we have to know. So, what we write? K is equal to S upon P. Therefore, S, unit of S is what? Moles per liter, and unit of pressure is bar. So, what we get the equation? Kh is equal to mole per liter per bar. When P is equal to 1, consider P is equal to 1 bar. So, Kh is equal to what? S, and thus we can say that the Kh is the solubility of gas in a liquid when its pressure over the solution is 1 bar. Or another we can say that Henry's constant is defined as the solubility of gas in mole per dm cube at 1 atmospheric pressure at a reference temperature. If several gases are present, then the solubility of any gas may be evaluated by using the partial pressure of that gas in the mixture. So, we take one example of Henry's law, which is based, that is the when carbonated soft drink, which is the beverage, which is sealed with the cap. So, it pressurized by the mixture of air and CO2. Some different soft drinks like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, they can be put inside the bottle. They put some amount of the gas inside the bottle. So, what will happen, due to high partial pressure of CO2, the amount of CO2 in dissolved state is very high in soft drinks. When the cap is just removed, what happen? The excess of CO2 and air is sealed in the bottle. Escape external pressure is decreases, solubility of carbon dioxide is also decreases, and it produces effervescence, which is the good example for the demonstration of Henry's law. Now, exception to the Henry's law, some gases like NH3 and CO2, they do not obey Henry's law. How? When they can react with the water, it forms the different ion. For example, NH3, when it react with water molecule, the reaction should be the reversible. It produces NH4 plus OH minus. Similarly, CO2 plus H2O, it gives H2CO3. Now, because of these reaction, NH3 and CO2 gases, they have the higher solubility than expected by Henry's law. After that, the most important concept of the vapor pressure of solution of liquid in liquid state. For that, we require first upon well known what are the volatile solution. The ability of any liquid to get convert into its vapor form, which is known as the volatility. For example, alcohol, good example is also the acetone. The partial pressure of component, they are related to their mole fraction. In the solution, this relationship which is given by the Raoult's law. So, first upon we must know the Raoult's law. What is the Raoult's law and what is the mole fraction? Now, the partial pressure of component, they are related to their mole fraction. So, these mole fractions, whenever we consider, we can take the concept of vapor pressure for the liquid solution. Take one example, take a binary solution, means two components. There are two beakers, 1 and 2, the name are given, these are the volatile liquids. So, first upon, before mixing, we given the name, let vapor pressure of pure liquid, P1 naught, and vapor pressure of another liquid which is also in the pure form, which is the P2 naught. Now, mix it. What will happen? Whenever we mix, put in closed container, because due to the volatile nature, they insert some vapor pressure as the liquid is settled down and they exert the vapor pressure. So, here vapor pressure should be the constant and solution is become equilibrium form. So, vapor pressure of P1 is exactly equal to the vapor pressure of P2. Similarly, mole fraction of X1 is equal to mole fraction of X2. The quantitative relationship between partial vapor pressure and mole fraction, which can be explained by the Raoult's law. So, first upon we take the statement of the Raoult's law. It states that the partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of a solution is equal to vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by its mole fraction in the solution. Just now we took the same example, that is when we take the two beakers. So, P1 is directly proportional to X1. X1 is here mole fraction. Similarly, P2 is directly proportional to X2. So, we have P1 is equal to what? P1 initial or P1 naught X1. Similarly, P2 is equal to what? P2 naught X2. That term which is the proportionality constant. So, partial pressure of component is equal to the vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by its mole fraction. Whenever we solve this expression, which can understand P minus P is equal to P1 X1 plus P2 X2. Now, X1 is equal to 1 minus X2, we substitute the value of X1, P is equal to P1 naught into 1 minus X2 plus P2 naught X2. So, just solving that expression, just multiply by the bracket, P1 0 minus P1 naught X2 plus P2 naught X2 into, so we take the common term, P2 naught minus P1 naught into x2 plus P1 0. Now P1 naught and P2 naught, these are the constant. Hence by using the graph we can understand here they plot a graph by using the pressure versus x2, which is a straight line graph as shown in the figure. The figure is also shows the plots P1 versus x1 and P2 versus x2. According to this equation we get the straight line passing through the origin. Now let us see the graph. Variations of vapor pressure with the mole fraction of solute. Now for P1 naught versus x2 we showing the straight line. P is equal to P1 naught at x2 is equal to 0 and P is equal to P2 naught at x2 is equal to 1. Second, for P1 versus x1 straight line, P1 is equal to 0 at x1 is equal to 0 and P1 is equal to 0 at P1 naught at x1 is equal to 1. For P2 it is similar. P2 is equal to what now? 0, x2 is equal to 0 and P2 is equal to P2 naught at x2 is equal to 0. So that's Raoult's law is very important because it given the partial pressure of the components and it given the relation in between of the mole fraction. The composition of vapor in equilibrium with the solution can be determined by the Dalton's law of partial pressure. If we take the y1 and y2 as the mole fraction, then we get the equation P1 is equal to y1p and P2 naught is equal to y2p, where P1 and P2 are the partial pressure of two components in the vapor and P is what? Total vapor pressure. So, the solution which obeys the Raoult's law over the entire range of concentration, and hence they are basically classified into two different types. That types we see on the next lecture. So before that we understand the vapor pressure of the solution will be the vapor pressure of P of the solvent which alone in the solution, and that can be given by the different graph. So lowering of vapor pressure is the product of vapor pressure of pure solvent and mole fraction of non-volatile solute which dissolve in the volatile solvent to form a solution. Hence, lowering of vapor pressure which depends upon the nature of pure solvent and concentration of solute in the mole fraction. So, the different equation it proves that is delta P is equal to P1 naught x2, which says that the lowering of vapor pressure it is the colligative property because it depends on the concentration of non-volatile solute. So, dear students, the remaining part that is the ideal and non-ideal solution we see on our next lecture. Thank you.